The Blue Jays shocked everyone last night by signing Dylan Cease to a 7-year, $210 million deal, and the reaction from around baseball has been absolutely hilarious. The second the ink dried on that contract, every fan base started tripping over themselves to say they didn't want him anyway. Padres fans are saying good riddance. Yankees fans are acting like they were never interested. Cubs fans are pretending they had better options. And honestly, if you're a Blue Jays fan, that should be incredibly flattering, because what it really tells you is that Toronto has created something real here. One playoff run, one World Series appearance, and suddenly every move they make has other fan bases scrambling to downplay it. That's what happens when you become a threat. Now, let's be clear. This is a lot of money. It's a massive commitment. 7 years for a starting pitcher is not something teams used to do, but the game has changed. Long-term deals for starters have become more common. And if you want a durable arm with elite stuff, you're going to have to pay for it. Dylan Cease checks both of those boxes. Yeah, his ERA last year wasn't great. Yeah, he walks too many guys and gave up some home runs. But this is a classic Shapiro and Atkins move. They see a guy with elite stuff and durability, and they trust their player development system to mold him into exactly what they need. Pete Walker and that pitching staff have a track record of getting the most out of arms, and if you give them a guy who's healthy and throws hard, they can work with that. The other thing that matters here is durability. Cease doesn't miss starts. He's on the mound every fifth day, and in today's game, that's incredibly valuable. You can't win if your rotation is constantly on the injured list, and the Blue Jays have built their entire pitching philosophy around finding guys who stay healthy and pitch deep into games. Kevin Gausman does it. Chris Bassett did it. Jose Barrios does it when he's right. And now Dylan Cease is going to do it. That consistency is worth paying for, even if it means occasionally dealing with some rough outings. Now, I know what some people are thinking. For $210 million, shouldn't he just show up and dominate right away without needing any adjustments? Yeah, ideally. But this isn't a rebuild project. Cease isn't Robbie Ray coming out of nowhere to win a Cy Young. This is a guy who already has elite stuff. The adjustments are about refining his command, cutting down the walks, and making sure he's attacking hitters more consistently. That's not starting from scratch. That's taking a really good pitcher and helping him become great. And if the Blue Jays can do that, this contract is going to look like a steal 3 years from now. But here's the bigger picture. This signing isn't just about Dylan Cease. It's about what it represents. The Blue Jays are sending a message to the rest of baseball that they're not going anywhere. They're not treating their World Series run as a one-off. They're doubling down. They're spending real money. They're competing with the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees for top-tier talent, and they're not waiting around hoping prices drop. They went out and got their guy on day one of free agency, and that should have Blue Jays fans fired up. Think about this for a second. When was the last time the Blue Jays paid top dollar for a Scott Boras client? When was the last time they dropped this kind of money on a free agent pitcher? The previous record for a pitcher was Kevin Gausman's 5-year, $100 million deal. This is more than double that. This is the Blue Jays flexing financial muscle in a way we haven't seen before, and it's because they made a ton of money during that World Series run. The tickets were expensive, the building was packed every night, and Rogers saw firsthand what happens when this team is good. They're a $20 billion company, and they're finally willing to spend like it. And here's the kicker. While the Yankees are out here talking about cutting payroll and Hal Steinbrenner is complaining about not making a profit, the Blue Jays are stepping up and saying, we're the big spenders in the AL East now. That's a massive shift. The Red Sox have been cost-conscious for years. The Orioles are still building. The Rays never spend. The Yankees are suddenly penny-pinching. That leaves the Blue Jays as the team with the deepest pockets and the most willingness to use them, and that's a huge advantage. Now, let's talk about what this means for the rest of the offseason, because the Blue Jays are not done. This signing doesn't take them out of the running for Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker. If anything, it shows those guys that Toronto is serious about winning right now. They're not messing around. They're not waiting for the right price. They're going out and getting the players they want, and they're willing to pay market value to do it. That should be a huge selling point for any free agent considering Toronto. The other thing to keep in mind is that a salary cap might be coming to baseball in the next few years. That's part of why Steinbrenner is talking the way he is. He's laying the groundwork for the owner's side in the next round of collective bargaining. And if a cap is coming, teams like the Blue Jays and Dodgers are trying to maximize their spending window while they still can. Get as much talent as possible before the rules change and lock everyone into tighter budgets. That's smart front office work, and it's another reason why this signing makes sense right now. Let's also address the elephant in the room, which is what this means for the rest of the rotation. Max Scherzer is probably done in Toronto. Chris Bassett's future is uncertain, and there's a sense that things got pretty ugly behind the scenes with him toward the end of the season. Jose Barrios still has a couple years left on his deal, but his relationship with the team seems strained. So the Blue Jays needed to add a reliable arm who could anchor the middle of the rotation, and Dylan Cease does exactly that. Pair him with Gossman, Trey Isaf, and Shane Bieber when he's healthy, and you've got a rotation that can compete with anyone in the American League. The durability factor cannot be overstated. Cease is going to take the ball every fifth day. He's not going to miss time with mysterious injuries. He's not going to need load management. He's a workhorse, and in today's game, that's rare. You're paying a premium for reliability, and that's worth it. Even if there are 2 or 3 years in this contract where his performance dips, you're getting enough value in the other years to make it worth the investment. Here's what I want Blue Jays fans to take away from this. This is a franchise that's finally spending like they mean it. They're not waiting around hoping to get discounts. They're not being cute with their offers. They identified a player they wanted. They paid what it took to get him, and they did it before anyone else could get involved. That's the kind of aggressive front office work that wins championships. And the fact that other fan bases are immediately downplaying this signing just proves that Toronto is doing something right. When everyone else is trying to convince themselves they didn't want the guy you just signed, that's a good sign. So what's next? The Blue Jays still need to address the lineup. Bo Bichette is the obvious target, but Kyle Tucker is also in play. They need bullpen help, and they've been linked to guys like Edwin Diaz and Robert Suarez. And they need to figure out what the back end of the rotation looks like beyond the top 4 guys, but the foundation is there, the money is there, the willingness to spend is there, and now the talent is starting to come together. This offseason is just getting started, and the Blue Jays are already making serious noise. If you're a fan of this team, you should be thrilled because they're finally operating like a big market franchise that's serious about winning. Let's see where they go from here.